Okay, so first we're going to focus on the repaint. So prices change depending on if you're going to add trim, beams. What I'm going to start with is just a basic, repaint the walls. If there's trim that's currently painted, I'll repaint it. And then we can go from there just to see if we're in the ballpark. Now, if this is something that you guys don't mind saving until the winter months, I do lower prices in the winter just to stay busy because I have no option of exterior work in the winter. So I don't know if you're in a hurry to get it done. Right now my prices are higher because it's exterior season and there's no guarantee that I stay busy in the winter. So I have to charge a little bit more in the summer. A lot of times I'm 40 feet up on ladders and doing stuff. Whereas in the wintertime, I do discounted rates just so I can stay busy and not spend all my savings. That being said, I'm going to have a hard time finding the lights in here, aren't I? Let's see. Okay, well, what I'm looking at, all the baseboards and door casings I would leave the same. Doors I wouldn't touch. Any cracks in the drywall, there's two ways to do it. The way I do it usually is just to caulk it and let it be. I can do some drywall work, but I recommend if you're going to repaint the whole house, I have a drywaller that I work with who specializes in only that. Like patching something like that, I can do. But when we're talking about stress cracks and aesthetic texture matching, I use him to come in beforehand to just get it to the best that it can be. Because if you're going to invest the money in painting, it's worthwhile to go ahead and do it correctly. Like stuff like this, he would be better in addressing it. I can make it look okay, or we can just paint over it. So that's just something that I'd like to put out there. I would move all the furniture. If you guys are doing any flooring replacement or anything like that, let me know because everything can kind of cut costs. I plan on covering and protecting all the floors, all the trim, and moving all the furniture myself. So if there's anything that I don't have to do, obviously that will save some money. I wonder if there's power. It does not seem like it. So I can't really show you much here. The power must be turned off. So I might take a look at that real quick. Anyway, in the hallway here, I'd be running planks to go this way and be able to reach the upper. We've got a lot of surface area up here. And then let me know on closets. One way to reduce closets, we can do one coat on the closets because I typically do two coats. If you want a one coat blow and go job, let me know. Well, I wouldn't say blow and go, but I typically do two coats. I do usually a step above flat. Two coats ensures adequate coverage and everything. If there's any scrubbing that needs to take place, it's usually only in the kitchen. Anywhere where there could be grease, bathrooms, things like that. Closets actually take quite a bit of time, so if we can do one coat in the closet or no closets, that saves a little bit of money. It may seem silly, but sometimes because of the angles and the cramped spaces and all the stuff I got to move, closets end up taking 6 hours for a closet or 4 hours for a closet. You wouldn't think so, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Now on the shiplap here, what I've done on other units is this sands out. So you've got this area right here that's really bad, that not so much. And so what we can do, this is more of a time and material situation. It's hard to quote these because what I'd like to do is get a piece of pine that's going to match. See if I can get a stain match that's going to get it close, because what I did in that other unit is I sanded all of it down. Well, that makes it a little bit more blonde or white than the other would. Probably what's on here is nitrocellulose lacquer. Over time, nitrocellulose lacquer tends to amber. So in the other unit, it looked fine. You couldn't really tell the difference, and that may be the case. And that's kind of why I like to do time and material is if I quote you for a giant job, then, we might be able to save some money there. I don't want to lose the work by giving a quote that's ridiculous. I can see a little bit of water damage here. So like the expensive professional route would be to probably forget the ceiling unless there's damage in there, sand all of these bays all the way down, and then recoat them with a nitrocellulose, or not a nitrocellulose, with a pre-cat lacquer, or just a sanding sealer. Now, to do it that way, there's spraying involved, there's a lot of masking that would take place. The other way is to just sand it all down and leave it, and then the other way is to sand it and then stain it with an oil-based stain and leave it at that. That probably makes the most sense budget-wise, is to go as far as staining it and leaving it, because spraying all that lacquer, it's just a clear coat over the top. So the stain itself will penetrate the wood. It will give it protection, and you shouldn't need too much protection on the inside of a house. I'm told that these leaks have been fixed. So anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at there. So there may be a little further discussion needed on that particular element. Now, some people want me to do all the beams and everything like that. So I can do cabinets, I can do beams. What I'd like to start you with is just a repaint of the house, so that we can kind of get a budget together. And then if, like for me to stay busy in the wintertime is huge. And I do snow removal for these condos, and I do a lot of maintenance. So to be here would be fantastic. That being said, I can do it sooner. But the quote I'm going to give you right now is going to be based on doing it right now. And then I'll try and give you an idea of what it would look like in the wintertime and what the savings would be there. We can add cabinets, we can add doors, and it can really compound into a big job, but I'd like to start you kind of at a 2-coat repaint. If that's too high, we can do 1 coat, but really the budget is able to be kind of, I see the power. The budget can be kind of changed around in order to kind of fit your budget and what you need done. So let me see if I can figure out a situation where I can get some lights on, and then we'll go from there.